Make snake cobra cobra. Make snake cobra cobra. Make cosplay D-stash bash. I'm CaptainPira and this is my cosplay D-stash. Soul Eater is possibly my favorite anime ever, and I've never cosplayed from it because it usually feels like you need a group or you need to be able to do something different, and they're pretty simple costumes that have been done a lot. So I thought if I was going to do something, I'd try and make it a little different. So I chose Medusa when I found some really rad leather scraps at a local store. And I thought I could just add some texture to her basic jumpsuit and make it a little more like a live action take. Basically made a version of the jumpsuit with some texture. It's black jersey, a little bit of this scale textured lace, and the snaky leather scraps. Just to try and give a little more detail and interest to an otherwise really basic structure. Also keeping a lot of the raw edges to kind of get a more natural feel. And I've got some process on this whole look, so enjoy!
To draft my bodice, I trace off my bodice sloper, then reposition and combine the darts to create 2 front panel pieces. As well, I mark where my accent fabric will go. Next I trace my back sloper. The top portion will be leather, the center jersey, and the side lace. The original dart is a little off, so I shift it over and create an extra panel at the opening. This back side panel can join with my front bodice side panel to avoid extra seam. There should be 4 pattern pieces total. The pants will use the pant sloper, but I want an accent that is one continuous piece. This is achieved by tracing and joining the tops of the front and back pants pattern, and merging the darts. Then I can decide on the design. For hoods, I trace off a hoodie I already have. This one's my largest. Extending the current lines creates the pointy tip.
To make this build, I used 3 main fabrics. 1, the base jersey, snaky print lace, scraps with a great scaly texture to them.
The top back panel is leather for texture. I want to keep a lot of natural edges for an organic feel. This also applies to the hood trim. The base of the hood and bodice are jersey, then I just need to cut the lace insets to start forming my bodice. The front panel has decorative accents, but I can freely layer and texture materials over my solid jersey base. Pieces are pinned and clipped to assemble, as clips won't puncture the leather, then sewn together. Test your fit before you commit. Moving on to the pants, I'll pin and sew all the darts, then sew the legs together, leaving the front ply open. Then, I fit my decorative lace panels along the waist. Sew it down, apologize for disturbing my supervisor, and sew the legs closed. Test again. If the torso and pants don't meet, this romper is unwearable. I'd add a strip of lace without jersey backing, but fortunately things fit. Sew the top to the bottoms. This time when I try it on, I make sure I can bend my legs, torso, sit, etc. The 2 sides of the hood need pinned and stitched together before the trim is added. It can be joined working from the center out, and placing it wrong side down allows me to sandwich the seam when I turn it over. When it's sufficiently witchy, I clip the hood to the collar, then sew them together. I also put the zipper in at some point. Honestly, the collar is a bit high, but I think it'll collapse after a few wears and even out. Time for accents. I make a test template with paper to avoid wasting fabric. Once it's the right size and shape, I trace it to the back side of my pleather, cut and place. There's no edge to clip to, so I place pins in the holes between pleather to brace it without puncturing, and stitch them on. The buttons need hand sewn. These are salvaged from an old sweater. After hemming the sleeves and pants, the romper should be complete. The wig I'm using came from eBay back when you searched for 100% Kanekalon and crossed your fingers. I didn't know how to maintain wigs then, and the rough bangs and ahoge kept me from reusing it, so if I mess this up, no loss. It's tangled and quite thin to start.
You could say my work is cut out for me.
Here it is, all brushed out. While the wig head is great, nothing beats trying on a wig when it comes to sectioning and trimming bangs. I'm not a great stylist, but bear with me. When cutting the back, I leave it longer to start because you can trim more but can't add back. Now is even more obvious this won't be enough volume. Fortunately, I've just cut off a lot of fibers. These can be sewn together to create wefts. I use masking tape to hold the hair in place, to the back and front of either side of my intended seam.
We're going to sew it between the masking tape, fold it over, sew it again, remove all the masking tape, and then we should have some pretty good extra hair.
Then, I carefully pull off the tape. I should have used a closer thread color, but we'll place this weft near the bottom. When all the wefts are assembled, I can sew them between the existing rows on the wig. And now it's much thicker. Way too long, but glorious. This cut took longer, so it happened off screen. It's shaping up, but could be fluffier. So here's the final, with a ton of teasing and hairspray.
I was not expecting a lot from this 10-year-old eBay wig, but I think it's one of the better ones I've actually made. This wig started out as your classic, like, to the butt, 8 different colors selection, and I used the pieces I cut from the back, sewn them into wefts to add more volume. There's a ton of teasing in this wig, and a bunch of hairspray, but I'd maybe even go further. I've gotta, like, heat train this to go back. It does conflict with the collar a little, so maybe making the collar tighter. But it is really easy to get swallowed up in this wig. Overall, I think it's a great, like, comfortable Sunday cosplay. Something madness. I think this cost me maybe $10 worth of materials a couple years ago, so worth it. So these last couple builds have been mostly testing the waters as far as video production is concerned, and I think I've found a flow that works for me. So hopefully next video won't be a one-day build, but something that will take a few days longer, and I hope you look forward to it. Thanks for watching. My sewing partner, my pride and joy, my familiar. my Digimon partner for life. And one good purr. I hope watching me make these like fairly simple builds gives you a little bit of an idea of how to work with like your bodice block and your basic pattern pieces to make basically anything you can dream of. Once you've got a pattern that fits you well, it can be manipulated in so many ways, and that's one of the fun things about cosplay, because you get to make a lot of things that you would probably never make for wearing in the real world. So it's a great learning experience and a lot of fun. So I hope if you haven't been cosplaying already, maybe my videos will encourage you to give it a try. Thanks for watching.